perfect example, and I'll leave you with this. Josh did that. Oklahoma was in the top 5 of his teams, and he made the decision, went to their camp, and earned an offer, right?
Right.
He goes in, earns an offer. And we were talking about it, and he made the decision about Oklahoma about all kinds of things: tradition, athletics, where they're located, academics, what he could study, right? He loved the offense. He loves, obviously, the Oklahoma football itself. But here's what happened. So he wanted to commit that day that they offered him. I said, okay, we'll just wait. And we talked on the 11-hour drive home, which I've made 7 times this year.
Yeah, because I called you a couple times.
Oh, yeah. You've called me on the road. And so he's like, yeah, Dad. And so a couple days later, he's like, I want to commit. And I'm like, great. I was like, what happens if the head coach leaves? Because I had head coach leave. I mean, I know what it's like. It happens. I said, what happens if the head coach leaves? I said, Lincoln Riley's not going to leave. But what if he does? And so he thought through the process, still felt comfortable with the decision. It's one of those dad moments where you're like, yeah, I was right. 2 weeks later, Lincoln Riley takes the SC job, right?
Right.
And because of that, and because of his comfort level, all the research and how he had targeted and been methodical about his decision, man, he wasn't experiencing as much anxiety as perhaps he would have, right? And he was still able to maintain, still loved the school, and he's having a successful, and the school's everything he wanted, even with the coaching change. So it's just a great example of doing that.
Yeah, that's a good news story, because you're right, because some new coaches come in, and I've already seen it play out several. And this is a good example of what you just said. My daughter, her coach that recruited her, he was an okay guy, but when she got there, they had a little bit of, his style was a little bit what she wasn't used to. He had a very methodical process, and so she struggled under him. He got hired for a new job. He left. New coach came in. Totally different philosophy, had a different kind of system. She flourished. And I said, and she goes, Dad, she wanted to quit her first year. And I said, well, look, you waded through it. You got a new coach in, it worked out for you and everything, you flourished. I said, Tori, because here's the deal. Sometimes when you do the recruiting process, it may be great. And they get there, you may not be a perfect fit once you are there. Because it's once when they're recruiting you, it's different when you're on campus and they're paying you.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I said,
no better story than the movie The Program, baby. What happened? What happened to all the dancing honeys you had here? Just another freshman, man.
You know what? I haven't seen that in a hot minute, man. Dude, The Program is the poster child of how things work. And people